What's up, guys? Eric here with MajorLeagueTrading.com, coming at you with a free nightly video. And it has been a minute since we did one, and I apologize for that. So we won't delay it any. We'll kick it right off into it. It is going to be a short week here. We're trading the turkey week here, Thursday being Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving a little early to all of you guys, in case you don't watch any of my other videos later this week. Or you don't tune in and listen to me live on YouTube tomorrow and Wednesday. Osborne and I are going to go live both days and trade with you guys to kind of round out the week, eat some good food on Thursday, take Friday off, and then we'll come back the following Monday. So let's take a look here. We had a pretty impressive move today, and there's some things we've got coming out Tuesday and Wednesday here. So we've got core retail sales, all this stuff coming out tomorrow morning at 8:30. And then on Wednesday, we also have the unemployment claims coming out as well. Now, I don't know if any of this stuff may or may not get canceled. We weren't getting data there for a little bit with the whole government shutdown thing. Now that that's over, I'm assuming we'll start to get some of these numbers again. But I don't know. I saw some potential that maybe we weren't going to get some of those. Who knows? We'll find out at about 8:30 in the morning. So here in about 12 hours or so. But what I want to look at here from a charting perspective and just an overall idea for the week here, and we had a really nice rally today, right? We kind of just overall had a beautiful setup, a nice divergence as well, which I'll pull that over and talk about it. But typically what you end up seeing with a holiday short type of week like this is that we'll essentially just try and grind higher, and we'll do something maybe even like this and just continue to push. We might not even get this little pullback here tomorrow. It may just end up being like a little small gap down and then continue to rally from there, right? Now, overall here, the charts are very confused, I think, for lack of better terms, right? If we do get a little bit of a gap up tomorrow and then fail to hold that, then I think we could see a move lower. But we've got these two candles that just really stand out to me, which is going to be this 1120 candle and then the 1010 candle. And those are wide ranges. We essentially, I think, set probably some of the largest ranges I've ever seen. Like in Nasdaq futures, this move was like 1,220 points here. So it's a really significant move that we've seen. Now, the thing in which I want to point out is when we look at the SPY, we're not back through the highs of that just yet, right? And the last time we did this type of bar, it took us a little bit, right? It took some time to get back up through those highs. Now, normally I would say that that is probably going to be the case here, but I think we have a higher probability just because of the short week, the holiday week, that typically just tends to have that kind of drift higher, if you will. So when we look at this though, and we see the SPY, we see the Qs, and then we look at the IWM, it's telling us something else, and it's telling us that it actually kind of maybe wants to go back to, kind of 244s up here, right? It may want to just end up rallying and kind of make a nice move for the week. And when we look at the Dow is a little bit, oh, there's a trend line. Not a true trend line, but I was wondering why I had that on there. That was my multi-year target approach idea we were talking through one time for the Dow. But the Dow kind of just poked up through these highs, so 465.82s. We traded 465.87s, and we just really weren't able to kind of make the same type of move, right? I mean, the Dow was only up 0.4% on the day compared to the Nasdaq, which was up 2.56% on the day, grand total of 15 points on the QQQs, right? So we're seeing a big difference just between how all of these different markets are trading with one another, right? Russell ended up being up 1.83%, which is good, right? It's certainly up more than the Dow, but I think the key thing is that it's taking out this big red bar from last week. So I think that we will see the continuation of what appears to be that strength of a holiday week type of approach kind of going on throughout tomorrow and Wednesday. Now, when I talk about the divergence The divergence trade in which we took today, which is going to be the exact same trade I'm going to be looking for tomorrow here. And all it was if you notice, and you'll see these nice green arrows down here on the S&Ps and on the Dow, is that while the Dow was pushing lower here into 950, making new lows on the day, along with the S&Ps, the Russell and the Nasdaq were actually holding those morning lows, right? We got this nice big rally, which is 168 points, by the way, in the Nasdaq futures, right? We pulled back, and then this is when we were able to establish divergences in the S&Ps and in the Dow, while the Russell Nasdaq held. So that was a big tell for us. Now, we ended up taking essentially 3 trades, but 2 of them were basically the same. So one of those trades was here in the Russell. We ended up trying to, and this was a very kind of weird little bit of action going on here. We ended up trying to take a long in the Russell right in through here. And we got this nice rally to initially kind of start us off, and then immediately came back down, trailed us out right in through here at about 2380s, which is super unfortunate because the low ends up being 7960s. And then we end up popping and finally making the move. But this kind of consolidation, try to push higher, fail, try to push higher, fail type of action, all this was taking place while the S&P and the Dow were going to get those new lows that we were just talking about, right? Now, the other trade in which we ended up taking here ultimately comes in with the Nasdaq, and that trade ends up being right in through here. We were able to get entries at 24,703s with about a 25-point stop loss, just down under this low of 681 and a quarter, right? So we were able to pick up longs in the Nasdaq in there, and those were good for about 170 points, which is pretty solid for us, right? And at the same time, we took the Dow as well, and we were able to get the Dow somewhere down in here around 26,443s were the entries in there. I think some people even got it to 26,400 or 46,425s. So they were like basically right at the lows of this move. And again, all this is the same exact thing, right? We were just looking for this divergence. We allowed the market to kind of rally back up, and then we looked for the market to pull back here, and this is that pullback right there that we were just looking at on a 2-minute chart. This level right here, 46,440, is super important. That's the opening print. That's the line in the sand for today. We had this divergence. We were slightly bullish biased with the overall just drift to the upside for the indices on the week, and we just waited for those trades to present themselves a little early maybe on the Russell, or it just needed an additional shakeout. But the Nasdaq and the Dow worked out really, really nicely for us. And that's going to be the same exact thing that I'm looking to see happen tomorrow. If we get a little gap down, I'd like to see some sort of divergence in order for us to long this and keep pushing higher with that overall drift for the holiday week. Now, my target up here is going to be at 25,258.50s. So we've got about 300 points from current prices. And ideally, we can find an entry a little bit lower from here with some type of divergence, gap down, whatever the case might be here tomorrow. So again, anyways, I'm going to be trading that live. You'll see all of that kind of unfold and listen to me talk through the markets right here on YouTube as well. So I encourage you guys to check that out tomorrow morning. But yeah, anyways, that's what I got for tonight's free video. Take care. I hope it helps, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.